All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Coffee and Cigars, the Thursday night hang. Good to see all of you. Hope it's going well. Hope it is Thursday, October 31st. It's Halloween. So happy Halloween to all of you that are watching. Hope you're having some good treats tonight. Hope you had some time to give out candies to the neighborhood kids. Actually, that's what I didn't do today. I didn't get to do any neighborhood trick-or-treating because I just been busy. But I remember when we had the shop in Hamden, I would actually make sure we got enough for all the kids that would come to the neighborhood. We would give out 600, we would give out candies to 600 kids in total. So really a fun time to, I was found tonight to be a really fun time to be with, for Halloween. I like giving it out. Mom, the man, good to see you. How are you doing? How are you doing tonight? Everything's good? Everything's good. So tonight we've got some cigars and some coffee to get into. So we're going to get into that. Last week we were working on this project that I was building. I was building a cart for my heater that's here in the workshop, right? And I finally finished it today. I didn't get to work on it all the entire week, but I did finish it up. And so I wanted to show it to you since we showed it to you last week. Here it is. It is all finished and nicely put together. Worked well. And I, painted it. The heater's on, it's giving nice heat to me already. And as you can see here, I wanted to set it up so that we have the propane tank. And then I just thought, you know what, let's use these sustainers that we can put in here. And like, for example, this one is actually my cooler. Now, one of the problems with this one, you really can't open them. You have to take them completely out. But, it works well enough. Oh, goodness. Now my head is burning. Oh, there we go. And then we also have another one on top. This one is just a little toolbox. But as you can see, it's it's a little bit, it's just a narrow cart to have everything we need for heating. And yeah, that's what we're working on. George, man, good to see you. How are you doing? So what do you guys are outside or smoking cigars or having a drink? Let me know. Let me know. I want to know. I want to know. So yeah, we're here. And we're ready. Time to brew coffee. Let's brew some coffee. Let me get the coffee kit. Got our coffee kit here, all ready for us to use. Oops. So in the coffee kit, we've got, of course, our Festool mug, little heating stove, right? Got a little heater. Got our kettle. Got some water. Some gas for the heater. And of course, we have our brewing device, which is the new AeroPress Clear. This is something that just came, well, it's been out for a little while. I finally got one. And I thought, let's give it a try and see what it's like. And I've been using it now for the past week, making coffee with it. And, it's an AeroPress. So if you had AeroPresses, you know what AeroPress is all about. Craig's with us. What's going on? Hi, everyone. Last outdoor cigar of the year for me. So what happens now, Craig? Like, last cigar of the year outside, does this mean you'll be inside smoking from now on? Let me know. I am curious. All right, so we've got our butane. This is a camping stove. So you just gotta take that off. And I've used this on the show before, this Pocket Rocket. This Pocket Rocket, I really like it. It's about $85. The newer versions have piezoelectric ignition, from what I've been told. And yeah, I think it's super compact, really easy. You just basically unfold it. Creates a ledge for you to put your kettle on. Really kind of nice. Craig says he hasn't decided yet. Hasn't decided. That's understandable. You should build a smoking room that's climate controlled so you can smoke throughout the winter in Ottawa. That's my suggestion. My suggestion usually includes reckless spending. Okay, so before we do that, we're going to get our coffee and our water. So I put the coffee, I pre-ground the coffee. You know, I like to pre-ground coffee, so I'm putting it here. George says, outside, it's wonderful. I'm out trick-or-treating with a Jaime Garcia's successor and a martini. Nice, dude, nice. I like that. Walking around trick-or-treating, smoking a cigar, sipping a martini. I'm hoping that it's in a proper martini glass because that just would be so much more epic than. Okay, so this is, I got a Nalgene 32 ounce. We're gonna put the water in here. That's probably enough. And then let's light up our stove. Oops, turn this on. There we go. Put that there. Okay, so we've got our AeroPress. So if you're familiar with AeroPress, you know that it's been around since 2005, created by a guy named Alan Adler. And not too long ago, Alan decided to sell the company to another group of people that are, you know, have been making changes to the AeroPress. Some good, some bad. Like they made a lot of like new stuff. They came out with the clear. They come out with clear colors. So they're trying to invigorate the product line, but it comes at a cost. So increased cost. This is $45. $45 for this coffee brewer, which is an increase. I think that our old retail price at Spro used to be like $30 for these, maybe 20. And, you know, and this is what you get in the kit. You get the AeroPress, you get the filter holder, you get the stirring paddle, you get a spoon, and you get some filters. Now, these filters are just 25. There's 25 filters in this pack. Once upon a time, they used to come 300 filters with your AeroPress, and it also had a holder for those 300, and then you could just refill it. So you wouldn't have to buy another set of filters for almost a year. Now you have to buy it within a month. It also used to come with a funnel that you could use to help to fill your coffee into your AeroPress, or conversely, it could be used the funnel had this opening, that the same shape, where you could sit it in there and it would help, you know, balance and channel the coffee, you know, as you're brewing it. So there are some things that are, yeah, Craig says, no more funnel. Yeah. I'm actually disappointed with that. I'm actually disappointed with everything, you know, greater cost, less accessories, right? Like less accessories, keep it less cost, right? You're giving us a lot less, right? You're giving us less filters, no filter holder, no funnel, and you're charging us another 50% more. So I think that's a bit. Oh, it's 360 filters. I mean, even more worse. So a year's worth of filters was given to you, and now 25. I counted it when we were in New Jersey last week. I counted. So disappointing. George says that I'm using a martini glass. The only way to, okay, perfect. That's what I want to hear, man. That's what I want to hear. I'm not disappointed. A clear funnel would have been cool, but I look at this. They didn't bother to go for clear with these, so I can't imagine that they would have gone for clear with anything else. I would have liked to. I thought that clear everything would have been very cool. Very cool. But it is a clear AeroPress, and there is a level of coolness that I like about it. Just because, you know, it reminds me of the original or the older model AeroPresses that were almost perfectly clear. They were kind of had a blue tint to them. I like to use the inverted method, which means that we're going to invert it. Typically, when AeroPress and when Alan first released AeroPress, the idea was to put the filter in the filter holder, put this in here, put this on top of your cup, right? Put this on top of your cup, put the coffee, put the water, put this, press down, and that would be your AeroPress. But you would have uncontrolled dripping, and we wanted to control the extraction. So eventually people came up with this inverted method where you put the thing together, you put it upside down, and you put the coffee, you put the water, you wait, and then that's what we use. And so this is the recipe we end up developing to use at Spro with my baristas back in 2009. And we've been using it ever since. And actually, I used this recipe to win the 2012 United States AeroPress Championship. But you know what? Winning that championship is sketchy. Sketchy. I'm going to say it. I think it's sketchy because Craig says, I ran out of candy before 7. Wow, man. That always sucks to run out of candy. Like, I decided 600 pieces for Spro because we would have about 600 kids. And it took me about a year or 2 years to really figure out how much we needed to truly have. And it remained relatively consistent because the kids would come about 4:30 until about 6. And that 6 o'clock was when one of our neighbors had this costume contest. They shut down the street, big costume contest, really fabulous, fantastic time. And yeah, good times, good times. Okay, so let's get our filter ready. We gotta get some filters ready. So we're gonna take this. I think I brewed like 4 coffees with this already, so I've only got a couple filters left. Now, this is one of the few cases where I will wet the filter, pre-wet the filter, mainly because I'm going to be doing an inverted brew. So now that I have the filter wet, it doesn't fall out, which is muchos importantes, right? Then we also have the pre-ground coffee, so fairly fine grind. This is actually the Spro, the Espresso 99. And so we're going to brew that. And just because it says espresso doesn't mean that it has to be espresso. It could be whatever you want. So what I've ground here is 36 grams because we're actually brewing this for a 12-ounce cup. Now, I know that this is one of the few recipes that violates our typical ratio of 2 grams per finished ounce. This is a bit more, but it's 36 grams to get a richer coffee. We're going to be brewing a concentrated coffee and then adding water to bring that concentrated coffee to the normal cup strength. I found out this past weekend, we're hanging out with Rusty, that this is actually called bypass. Well, Craig says, first year at the new house, neighbors said they got a couple dozen kids. I ran out after 90 kids. Wow. That's a lot of kids in the neighborhood. All right, what's going on here? I'm going to boost it up some more so we can get that closer. I think by the amount of smoke, we should be pretty much, we should be there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, yeah, we got plenty. So the idea here is to pour the water. I'm going to let it cool down just slightly by removing the top. Now, it's not as cold as it would have been, or I was expecting it to be. It's fairly warm. Like today was very hot. Like it was 80s because I was in it. I was wearing this most of the morning, and then I was like, after a while, I was like, I got to take this off. It's like too hot. Got to be out of uniform, you know. Okay, let's put this back on. Add a little bit. We let a little temperature bleed off. And now we're going to brew. Let's put this closer so you can see. We're going to drop this in. It's 14. We're going to put it in and get 45 seconds of brew time. I'm going to pour a little bit, see what kind of bubbling we're going to get, and do some stirring to make sure that all the coffee is saturated. We want to do this for about 45 seconds. Oh, there's so much coffee in here. Now, you got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to go too high because, especially with very fresh coffee, it could bloom, which is part of the reason why I stirred it earlier, so that we would hopefully get rid of the bloom. All right. 5 more seconds of stirring, and then we will be done. All right, all right, all right. This goes on top. And we take the cup, we'll put it here like this, turn it over, and then now press down. Now you'll see all these people pressing down with all their might. You don't really need to do that. You just need a little technique. You can see there's actually a little bit of a gap here, right? There's an air gap. And eventually you're going to hear it hiss. And when it hisses, that's the end of the brew. It does require a little bit of force, though. I'm going to press it, fully compress it. There we go. All right, there it is, AeroPress brew. Now, the way the AeroPress works is that there's kind of all this falling across the flat plane of the filter holders. So you really want to tilt it so that you kind of slide all that over. And you'll see in a moment what I mean by that. Tilt it over, and then, oh no, I guess it's all gone. But you'll tilt it over, and it just kind of makes sure that you don't get spillage all over your counter. Okay, there it is. And now you have a puck. You can just take this off and then get that puck out of there. Now we've got coffee in here, right? So there's coffee in here, but this is a very concentrated brew. We're going to add more water to bring it to total volume. Right about there is good. All right, now we have coffee that is hopefully properly ratioed. Hopefully something that's tasty and delicious. Now, of course, I just added more hot water. It's going to be fairly hot. So you want to be very careful when you drink. Ooh, nice, nice. All right, very good, very good. That is the best coffee ever, as always. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. So we've got coffee ready. Okay, let's put this stuff away. Let's pack stuff up here. I'm almost out of butane in this cartridge. Oh, this is still hot. See, I've been brewing out. I've been using this lately outside, like in the cold weather, and it's not that cold tonight, so this is fairly hot. Usually by this, even by this point, this shorter period, it's been cold enough that it, okay, that's not smart. We'll put that aside. You won't do that. All right, so tonight, we got some, since it is Halloween, we want to do a little bit of Halloween-y stuff, right? Like, I'm a big fan of Halloween. Here's the thing. So when I was buying candies for the kids, I'm buying the real deal, right? I'm not trumping out on it. I'm buying small bites. Okay, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not buying the whole bars, but I'm buying Snickers, Three Musketeers, Milky Way. I'm buying Kit Kats. I'm buying, what else do we got there? Man, there ain't none of that Almond Joy. There's none of that Smarties. There's none of those other things. Okay, maybe there's some, like, maybe there is some the sour ones, right? Maybe there's some of that. Maybe there's some Swedish fish. But I'm not buying the stuff that I didn't like to receive when I was young, right? Like, I don't want that. Oh no, it's raining. Ah, what a terrible thing that is on a Halloween night. But too bad it didn't rain earlier to scare away the kids so you didn't have to disappoint. I do think that that's one of the things that I want to avoid is of disappointing the children when they come and you're like, I don't want any more candy, kids. Oh. And also, I'm one of those people that, like, you know what? If you're gonna come trick or treat, I'll give you candy. I don't care how old you are. There's no time you need to be too old for candy. Like, 600 pieces doesn't cost that much. So I'm like, I'll give candy. But we did give one piece to everyone because we gotta, give out 600. We're trying to support 600 people coming through us. So we don't have the luxury of giving you like handfuls. But, you know, everybody gets something. And George says that the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, best Halloween candy ever. You know, I was never a big fan of that for Halloween. I think my thing was Kit Kat. Kit Kats, Crunch Bars, and things like that. But since today is Halloween, and since you have mentioned it, time to indulge ourselves with a little trick-or-treat magic. So, I was thinking I should run out to the local farm store and pick up some candies for the show. Or actually just for myself. I don't care about them. But then I remembered that Matt gave this to me. Da-da-da-da-da. Look at this. This is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. And this one, Craig, is not so small. This is not so small. These are Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. And if I was to eat 1/8 of one of these, it would be 140 calories. See, wishes do come true. These are 2 half-pound peanut butter cups. There's probably a whole jar of Skippy in this thing. And we're going to eat it. We're going to try it out because it's Halloween. It's Halloween. So I got my cutting board. I got a knife. And we're going to get into this because you know what? This is what Halloween is all about. All right, let's look at it. Let's look at it. We're going to tilt down. There it is. There it is. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate this. You happen to watch the morning stream. Tomorrow is going to be equally ridiculous, perhaps even more so. Spoiler alert. Craig is having a half-pound cigar. Nice, nice. All right, let's get this out. Come on. I don't usually have trouble taking it out. Usually the trouble is putting it in. Come on, baby, come on. Open that up. This may be the last episode. Oh, this may be the best. Yes, absolutely. It doesn't want to slide out. What the hell is going on here, man? There we go. Oh, it has little it has little trays for the. Oh, look at that. Okay, so here it is. The largest Reese's peanut butter cups in the world. In the world. Look at this. This is just ridiculous. This is out of control. You get these when you go to Hershey Park. They have these in Hershey Park. I have no idea how much these cost. It's just very kind of Matt to give it to me. And I've been saving them. Yeah, exactly, Mom. Look at that craziness. It's craziness, right? It's craziness. We're gonna take it out now. Look at this. Okay, this is the problem here. This is not M&Ms. It will melt in your hands. Now, I did bring a knife. But you know what? A knife is too polite. At least for the first bite. So therefore, we need to bite as we would on Halloween. So let's give it a try. Oh, not too bad. I thought the sidewall would be huge. You know what? This is a massive Reese's Pieces. It's massive. Like, look at that. It's ridiculous, right? But what I will say about this, with this bite, it is actually like eating a Reese's peanut butter cup, meaning that it's proportioned. I would have thought maybe there's too much peanut butter, maybe or too much chocolate, or just out of balance. But that's really like eating the real deal. I mean, it is the real deal, but they've managed to keep the proportions so that, okay, this is probably 140 calories right there. I should probably stop. It's like drinking a whole can of Coke in one bite. All right, let's cut it. Let's be a little more civilized now. We'll try to cut it a little bit here. Let me tilt down again. And let's cut it this way. Look at that. See the proportion. You know, it does have a nice proportion. I thought the side walls were going to be really, really thick. It's the top that's thicker than the rest. So what this means, like I thought it'd be really difficult to bite into, but it was actually very easy to bite into. So by having it small like this, small on the sides and the bottom with the chocolate, it makes it easy to bite. So really pleasurable to bite into. So let's. This is not something you should sit down and eat in one go. Well, we're going to be here for 2 hours. So, George says, eat the whole thing. Halloween won't come. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we have 2 hours. We have 2 hours to eat. I don't need to eat it in the next 10 minutes. If you're a fan of Reese's peanut butter cups, you will love this. Like it is a dream. It really is a dream of, it says dreams do come true. It's totally true. With the coffee too, perfect. I chose this espresso bean because it's a little more forte. So I figured that it would be really nice for this pairing. Look at this. It's like eating a pumpkin pie. George, come on over, man. Oh, that is crazy. Although I do worry that perhaps this will occlude my ability to taste the cigar. All right, we're gonna have one more slice. One more slice. Yeah, there we go. That's all I've eaten so far. Not even half. I think I'm starting to feel it. I think my diabetes is spiking. Or I think I have diabetes now. Maybe I didn't have diabetes earlier. Like at 8 o'clock, I probably didn't have diabetes. But right now, at 8:30, I got diabetes. Thank you, Hershey. I know people that tell me that Hershey's chocolate is trash, right? And you know, I have the manual on like the best chocolates in the world. Hershey's rated as trash, right? It really is. But man, there's something about growing up in America. This is the flavor that you know. I don't care if it's trash compared to other ones. This is just like being young again. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna put that aside for a little while because you might have to call the ambulance. And I need to clear my palate. Good gosh. Okay, with maybe no. With the coffee, especially. Oh my gosh. So nice. So nice. All right, so tonight, let me get water here because I need to clear the palate. So tonight's cigar is one that actually decided to do this yesterday. Bryan and I were hanging out, and he was like, "Hey, I brought this cigar for you in case you want to smoke it, or if you want to, you can use it on one of the live streams." And I was like, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "It's Ashton VSG." Now, of all the people that I know, Bryan is kind of like the Ashton VSG savant. Like, he has a very particular and peculiar flavor for these cigars, meaning that when he finds a batch of Ashton VSGs, he'll buy one and he'll smoke it. But he's looking for a particular flavor, what he describes to me as a tropical flavor. There's a tropicality to it. And I have experienced this after he told me this, because he's been telling me this for like a good 15 to 20 years. And there are certain VSGs that have this pineapple-y, I would describe it as pineapple-y, but this tropical fruit note. For him, it's the best of the VSGs. So once he finds a batch that tastes like that, he will try to buy as much as he can. And so he was like, "Hey, I wanted to give this to you, but it's a vintage one." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "The guy has a very nice collection of cigars." And he's like, "Yeah, it's from 2006. I was like, 2006? Holy smokes. So gave it to me, and I was like, "You know what? We're going to use it today. Today, baby, it's today." Here it is, the Ashton VSG 2006. And it feels like, let me get out the bag. That. It feels slightly box press. I don't think it looks box press. Look at that right there. It looks boxy, right? It could be box press. I don't know, but oh, darn it. I have to clean my hands. Okay, let me get our scoring sheet together just for fun. Also, I picked this up this week at the local wood shop at Woodcraft of Baltimore. They had these on sale for like $7 or $5. Tomato. These are tomato pens, mechanical pencils in 5 millimeter, I think. Yeah, 0.5 millimeter. And I decided to get it because it was on sale. It was like really affordable. And I had been using this other one that is 0.7, is that right? Or 0.9 from Pica Pen, which has been okay, but I realized that with a pencil, I want it to be thinner. Like with a pen, I like it. Oh, this is nice. It comes in this foam insert. This you don't want to throw away. You want to put this in like your box or something. Mom says that I remember Ashton was one of my first cigars and hit me kind of hard. You mean like strength-wise? I think that can definitely happen depending on, your curve in cigar smoking. Meaning that, that when you're starting out, you don't really have a tolerance or just you're not used to it. So you get a little bit more hit. Yeah, so here it is. This is the Tomato Graph X5, 0.5 millimeter, made in Japan, really nicely machined. So it's got this, what is it? This kind of pencil-y shape right here, this pencil-y shape, and then it's got knurled barrel. So here it's squared, and then knurled barrel, and then it's push button. Oh, too much. And then I think in this little window, oh, it says 2B. Oh, so this is the type of hardness of pencils. Okay, Mom, I gotcha. All right, so now we're going to, yeah, oh yeah, we have to get our cigar. I'm getting something like maybe a light cedar. Like he said, it's been in the box for this whole time. So we're talking a cigar now that's almost 20 years old, 18 years old. So the cedar is a little bit stronger thing that's on the fragrance. But I have to say the fragrance is a little bit on the low side for me, meaning that it's not terribly intense. And then let's look here at our coloration. I'm going to say it's right about oh, darn it. Right about there. So if we look at our color chart, I'm saying that it's right about there. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? George says that, Mom, I agree with you in terms of flavor. The VSGs of 2005 to 2009 were different. It was my celebration cigar when I first started. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. Maybe this will be a nice, stronger one. We'll see. But you can see the old school label or band. Looks a little bit yellowed from time. And we're going to light it up. I'm going to light it up. Cut it up here. Let's cut it up. I'm just using the El Cheapo cutter. Not bad. Not bad. Cold draw has a coolness. It's a little bit tight. There's a light spice. I would think maybe that's the light spice of the Spanish cedar. I want to give it a light now. I'll use this lighter here. The lighter that Bryan left here last night. We were having cigars in the workshop. So Bryan, when you see this, you know that I have your lighter. All right, here we go. Yeah, there's definitely the Reese's is going to be a little bit of an issue. There is a light. I would say there's a tropicality to it now. There is that light pineapple-y, but it's very mature. It's very smooth. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. It's starting off nice. Good, smooth. Complexity is really nice. If it was a bold cigar, I would not say that. If it was a bold cigar in the day, I would not say that it's starting off as a bold cigar to now in 2024. It's a little bit tight of a draw. Mom says he hasn't had one in a while, but he might have one. Hey, have one tonight. Definitely, definitely. What do we have to lose? What do we have to lose? There's a good complexity that is actually very refined in that and you could tell it's aged. Like the aged cigars have a certain like mellowness that comes to them over time. And this certainly has that. George says that another sweet to set off the palate before a cigar is burger cookie. No doubt, no doubt. In case you might be wondering if you're not from the area, A burger cookie here in Baltimore is a very specific type of cookie that's very similar to chocolate top cookies that you may see in New York City. However, they're a little bit different. The shortbread, kind of this very soft shortbread, is kind of similar, but instead of having a fluted piped top, it's just this kind of like spread dollop of fudge, and it's super sweet. It's super crazy. It's just Baltimore, Baltimore. When you look at these New York ones that are all like piped, they're really pretty. These are not very pretty. They're just like Baltimore. We're doing the job, doing the job. And they're also pretty darn expensive. But if you sit there and you have burger cookies with a glass of milk, oh my gosh. That's actually what I wanted to do today for like my mid-afternoon snack. I was in Pennsylvania because I had to pick up this tool that I bought. On the way back, I stopped off in Hereford to go to Growls because I wanted to get some milk for tomorrow's episode. So I picked up some nice milk, and then I was looking at their bakery. I was thinking, I would like to have chocolate cake. Well, they don't have any chocolate cake by the slice. They have it by the half for $16 or for the whole, but I don't know how much the whole is. But I was like, what am I going to do with that? So Devin's with us. What's going on, Devin, man? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. How are you this week? So I bought the milk, drove down. I thought, there's no other bakeries around here. Let me go to Wegmans. Drove all the way to Wegmans. And I hate going to Wegmans. Like, I really dislike going to Wegmans. And I try never to go there. But today, but I gotta say, Wegmans chocolate frosted chocolate cake is pretty damn good. Like, hella good. So I was like, I was in the mood. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and get this cake. They sell it by the slice for like $5, $6. I go there, battle through the parking lot, which sucks on a Thursday afternoon, like Thursday 1:15 p.m. Actually, there's no time that going to Wegmans doesn't suck, which is why I'll try never to go there. So I go there, I get the slice of cake, and I'm trying to find a place to check out. So on the deli side where the cake is, now it's all like electronic payment terminals, and there's no one woman who doesn't give a damn about what the hell's going on there, And I'm like, where do you get cash? What do you pay for cash? I want to pay in cash, right? She's like, you got to go to the regular register. Go to the regular registers, and there's the self-serve checkout, and that like and I never go to self-serve checkout, but it just irritated me to go there and like look at the self-serve checkout. There's 20 people waiting for the self-serve checkout. I have no idea if they're all full or if there's only 2 terminals working. So I walk down looking for the other cash registers. They're all kind of full, the ones that are open. I'm like, you know what, man? I hate coming here. I'm leaving. So I took my cake, walked up to the customer service, said, here, I can't find a place to pay for this, so I'm out of here. And I just left. I was like so irritated. I don't know why I decided to go to like Wegmans. It's just such a bad choice. It's a bad choice to go to Wegmans. But their chocolate cake, pretty damn good. Definitely there's that tropical taste is starting to come through now. Maybe because I'm getting over the massiveness that is this Hershey's peanut butter cup. And oh yeah, in case you're just joining us, Devin, this is a Reese's peanut butter cup. For reference. Oh yeah, you know it. And I have diabetes now. So do you guys do any kind of 3D printing? Anyone into 3D printing? I'm not, but I was just recently gifted a Creality Ender 3 V3 SE. Very, very thankful. I'm very thankful. And I haven't unpacked it yet, but I'm going to unpack it soon. But I'm just trying to figure out what to do. My brother is a big 3D printing kind of guy, and he was like, yeah, you need to get the PLA filament, like PLA. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to go to Micro Center tomorrow and be like, hey, can I get some filaments? But the reason I went to PA is because I wanted to pick up, I was perusing Facebook Marketplace for tools, and I saw this. This guy was selling this Makita 1900B electric planer. Pretty old. And $20. I was like, $20? That's a great deal. I'll go buy that. So I called him up, said, hey, I'd like to get it. He's like, yeah, man, come meet me up here by PA. And I was like, all right. So this is a fairly old planer. Like it's I don't think they make this anymore, but it's a classic of the Makita line, evidently. I don't really know much about planers, but it came with all the accessories, all the mounting plates and everything, and everything that you need to do planing. And yeah, the belt looks good here. Devin says, my apologies, lighting my cigar warped La Colmena 10-year anniversary. Nice, dude, nice. And Craig had to relocate to the garage. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That rain is such a pain. So I cleaned it up, and I haven't tried it yet. I just got it. I mean, I picked it up. I just got it today, so it has its own French. But I gotta work on it because these are all tight. So the guy that sold it to me was telling me, I said, what, are you closing up your shop or something? He said, well, it was his brother. This is his brother's planer. His brother passed away from cancer not too long ago. And now they're trying to get rid of all of his tools. And I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but if you have more tools, let me know. So I cleaned it up, made it look nice again, kind of new. And I guess I'll work on it tomorrow. Now, you can tell it's fairly old because the new models, new planers, they actually have this little foot that comes out here at the back plate that actually pops the blades from sitting up so it doesn't sit on the work surface, so you don't get damage to the work surface that you're working on. So it's pretty old. I have no idea how old it is. I have to look it up. But I've been working around here, getting the garage in order, trying to make it nice again. I'm fairly succeeding finally. Feel like I'm getting somewhere. This workbench that I've been sitting at for the last couple weeks is a workbench I actually built like in the 90s, many years ago. And I squared it. I borrowed Matt. Matt has a TS75, a Festool TS75 saw. And I borrowed that to square it up. Actually, right here. This thing is a beast. This is Festool's biggest saw. Now, just to be sure, just to note, this is not my saw. This is my friend's saw. But I gotta say, it's pretty dope to use. I haven't really done anything significant with it. Like I basically have cut straight lines to edge out the work table. But man, it is a nice piece of gear. Now the guys on the Festool owners group are like, well, the Mafel is much better. And I was like, well, really? I know nothing about these things. But if you ever think about buying a track saw, this is a nice one. This has like up to 3 inches of depth, which turns out that this is really a good thing for what I'm doing here because my table, my worktop is actually 2 sheets of, well, that's not true. It's 2 sheets of 3/4. So the other one, the TS55 and TS60, would be deep enough also. But with this one, it's got significant amount of cutting. Right. And, so good blade depth. Right. All right, let's put that down. I think I'll have to get one of these. Not this one. I think this is too big. And I don't really have much need. I'm not making like big pieces of wood. I think for me the TS55 or 60 are probably perfectly suited for what I would like to use it for. Like in the many years that I've owned this DeWalt circular saw, I've never had a situation where what I needed, the depth of what I needed to cut exceeded the capacity of the DeWalt. So it's like, it's getting better. Where does your wife? Where does your wife? Okay, so Greg, the garage is not too bad a place to be. I'm in the garage. And actually, to do this show, I'm actually sitting on this metal stool that's hard with no padding. And I haven't been too uncomfortable. All right, let's see here. The cold draw was okay. You know what? I think that I'm just going to say it was very good at 8 for the fragrance and cold draw. To start out, so just very good. Nothing like great. It is, as we're starting into the cigar in this first third, it's improving. It's better than it was when it started. Like that tropicality is coming through, that pineapple, the complexity is really pleasant. There's even like a light hint of the cedar from the aging process. Like I feel like I want to smoke it faster. Like I am enjoying it now. So what's been happening this week? Anything interesting? I've been here mostly this week in the garage, really just trying to clean things up and organize it. It may not look like I've gotten much done since last week, but really, there has been good progress. And I finished my cart, which is what I was dominoing last week. So that's really nice. And I'm kind of pleased with it. It's not perfect. Like I was using like subgrade, like subflooring grade remnant 3/4 inch plywood. So it's all kind of busted up looking. It's not that nice stuff. But it's what I had just lying around. I found these pieces. So I'm going to use it. Might as well, because I was going to buy some plywood for this project. And I was like, my God, it's so expensive. Like, forget it. I'm just going to try to harvest what I can. Now, all that lumber I've been burning when we're outside, I'm kind of regretting that now. I'm like, oh, I could have kept all that. Actually, there's some sheets out there that I should keep that I haven't burned because I thought, well, burning plywood is probably a very bad thing to be sitting around and inhaling it. I'm actually kind of excited for tomorrow, because tomorrow is November 1st. And that means that with the starting of a new month, there's a new set of specials happening at the woodcrafting store. It's like, oh, what else can we buy on discount? Like I was looking, there's a company called Miles Craft, and they make these like triangles that you can like use to lift, pieces off of your work surface and like suspend them and put them on points so you can paint them. And Matt got a couple of those. I've been using them to do the big slab, and I was like, man, I should get some for myself. So I was at the shop the other day, and I was like, hey, got any more of those? And they're like, no, we're out of those. We're still trying to get them in, but try these. And I was like, what are these? These are called bench grippers. I'll show you. So these are the bench grippers, and I got them in one of these sustainers. And what they are these little discs that are kind of sticky and rubbery. So you can put this on your work surface, and it's not going to move. You put your piece on top, and it's not going to move. It's not going to move. It's really kind of nice. And then they have these little things you can add to it. That are like points, and these points will put your pieces there. And so I ended up buying, they come 8 to a pack. And then I bought one, and I put them in here. And then I was like, you know what? Let me buy another set. So I bought another 8 over the weekend. And then this week I was doing the painting for the pieces for the cart. And I was using them. And then I finally used them. I had like, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 5 pieces to this. And with 2 sets, there was enough for 4 of the pieces. And I was like, I need more. So I went back to the shop the other day, and I was like, do you have any more of those? They're like, yeah, this is the last one. I was like, I'll buy it. So normally $18, they were only $9. So almost half price. I was like, oh, this is really a good deal. That's a good deal. So I stocked up, and now I have a full set that are ready to go whenever I need them. And I think they're really nice, and they're nicer, and they're nice and compact, especially compared to the other ones, the triangles. The triangles are much thicker and bigger. And I can fit, 24 of them in this little tiny container, sustainer, and look very festoonly. But it is kind of heavy. Yeah, really nice. This is really nice. I'm really enjoying this cigar. Let's have a little more coffee this time. Mm. So, Craig, you never told us what cigar you're smoking tonight. Yeah, good. And Devin says to use your exhaust fan, Craig. Use your exhaust fan. And then George says, when is the big hunt for residents? You mean presents for Christmas? Is that what we're talking about? Or resents? Resents? We were actually supposed to go on a hunt for pheasants. Right. We were supposed to go on the big hunt for pheasants tomorrow. Turns out that our group leader called in, and we were kind of on there's evidently tomorrow there's a lot of groups that wanted to go out, so we were like on the bottom of the list. And so they were like, they canceled our reservation because they were like, well, we can't accommodate you with everybody. So no pheasant hunting tomorrow. Oh yeah, peasants. Or peasants too. We can go shoot peasants. But so we were supposed to go tomorrow, but maybe in a couple weeks. Maybe in a couple weeks. It gets a little bit more difficult as we get closer to Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving this year is much later than it has been, right? It's the 29th or something like that. Oh no, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 27th. Black Friday? No, I think he means pheasants. Pheasants. We were supposed to do a pheasant hunt tomorrow. I think I mentioned it last week. Yeah, which is good because I hadn't really followed what was happening. So I messaged the group and I was like, hey, yesterday I messaged the group. I was like, hey, did you guys find the right ammunition? Because I was just at the gun store. They didn't have any, and I was like, they're like, oh no, we're not, we're we're we're, we're canceling it. I was like, what? Okay, that's good because I really wasn't prepared. Like I'm kind of busy this week, so I was like, oh man, it's going to be a little bit tight. But so not having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and do that whole thing actually is a little bit more helpful because I got a lot of stuff I could be doing. There it is, Ashton VSG 2006, smoking perfectly well. But it does have that aged. There's a character to aged cigars, but I don't really know how I would describe it. Craig, you're a big aged cigar fan, smoker. What is this? What is the character of age? How would you describe that? Devin's asking, what are you drinking? I am drinking the Spro Coffee Espresso 99 brewed with the AeroPress Clear. So not as espresso, just as a brewed coffee. So really, one of my favorite coffees. I mean, I make it, so I mean, of course, it's my favorite. But it really is one of my favorites. It's got the notes that I like. A lot of good body, chocolate, some chocolate notes. A little bit of, we put a little bit of natural processed coffees that have this nice kind of berry character to it. So I like that little bit of berry to be right in there, and then a little bit of nutty dryness on the finish. That's what I like. That to me is really like a coffee that I can go to every day. We're drinking a coffee today. This some fancy coffee. Carbonic maceration. So Matt's competing in this roasting challenge with Gold Mountain Coffee Importers. Evidently, it's open to anyone. I thought it was only open to the people that buy from them the most. He was like, "Oh no, I didn't. You could have entered." I was like, huh. So they send you 300 grams of the coffee, which is this carbonic maceration. That's, I guess, pretty expensive. And they're like, the best way we like it is to do a very light roast on it. It's gonna have notes of cherries and things like that. So we tried it today because Matt just received the Aiden brewer from Fellow. So I wanted to give it a try. So we brewed it up in that, and the coffee's strange. For me, I didn't. It's okay. It's a very light roast. They wanted to do very light roast. I mean, like first crack, like you hit first crack, you want to drop it. So I think in this particular batch, he dropped it like 20 seconds into first crack, which is still fairly light. And oh, Devin's in that cup. Oh, nice, man, nice. I didn't even. I mean, he told me that it was happening, but I didn't know. How would I tend to roast a CM? I tend to start out We shot a video about the 8 in. We talked about a lot of this, but it may not come out on Saturday. I've been bad at editing. I've really been bad at editing this past like month and a half. I would start out like if I was to get the coffee and play with it, I would probably I would start out as my typical roast profile, which let's say we're roasting. Let's say we start at 420 degrees, and we're gonna finish somewhere in that area again. We'll start at 400, have a drop, come up. Want to see the yellowing right around 4 minutes. We want to see the first crack right around 9 minutes. We'd like to drop somewhere between 10:30 and 11:30. But what I'm looking for typically is to finish the first crack. See, I learned since I did a lot of my roasting on my own. I never thought about things from the inception of first crack, right? So inception. So what I wait for is the finish of the first crack, and then I start to think about time wise. So maybe 15 to 20 seconds after first crack, drop it there, and then see what it does. It's always about seeing, trying something and then tasting it and seeing, do you like it? Do I not like it? Do I need to do something different? That's really kind of how I would approach it. But I like coffees that have a little more development, a little more sweetness. That sugar, I want that sugars to be converted. So, it's a lot of it's stylistic. Some people really want to like accentuate the high notes in coffee, which is perfectly fine. Just doesn't mean everyone's going to like it. Craig says that San Luis Rey double Corona, ooh, nice, 758 by 49, 16 years old and quite mellow. Yeah, I think that I find that a lot of aged cigars tend to be mellow. This is a relatively mellow cigar, but it does have good complexity. It does have a little bit of the spiciness from the cedar, and it is showing that tropicality note. So, Devin, have you submitted your roast for the competition? I wonder how many people are competing in this thing. Yeah, if I had done a submission, I would have gone definitely darker than they recommended. I only have to submit 35 grams. I got to drink the rest. I'm going to go do what I want to do. Devin says, thanks. Yeah, I like to have a light roasted medium with decent amount of development. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Totally. I don't think medium means dark. Like somewhere along the way over the last 20 years, we've gotten to the point where we talk about medium roasts, full city roasts, and suddenly everyone's like, it's too dark. Okay. It's always those things, a lack of context, a lack of context. Rusty's with us. What's going on, Rusty? Late to the game after handing out kids to the little, nice candies to the kids, little bastards. Gotcha. No worries. Yeah, Rusty and I were in just the Philadelphia area over the weekend, Sunday. Rusty was competing in the annual Widmer's Tobacco Chili Cook-Off. Really nice chili, man. That's actually great chili. I used it on the Tuesday morning live stream with the House Nation coffee that we have. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful pairing! Beautiful pairing. Really loved it. Really, really loved it. One of the few times I really, really loved something. Devin says, I haven't submitted yet. I'm having an issue in developing the bean because of the size, and I've never roasted carbonic maceration before, and I really don't want that alcohol note. Yeah, it definitely had a winey note. I think you could probably roast a lot of that out. I think. I'm not against carbonic maceration. I'm not against all the. I want to have as much processing, as much craziness as you can give me. I want that. I think that's what makes life interesting. I think that what makes coffee interesting. There's a whole world. There's a whole group of people within the coffee industry that are hating on this. They're like totally against it, and I'm just like, what? What's that? It's like these people that used to, or that still do, hate on naturals. They're all like, if it's a natural coffee, it is defective. It's like, gosh, quiet. It's quiet. I don't want to hear any more of that. Rusty says, thanks for the chili props. Absolutely, man. It was thank you for the chili. My psychosis for the whole like woodworking thing has gone crazy because wherever I'm going, like going up to Rusty to hang out with Rusty, I'm like, there's a woodcraft in Wilmington, Delaware that I'm going to stop by on the way there. There's a Rockler woodworking place in New Jersey across the river from Philly. That's another 45 minutes from Wilmington. I was like, I'm going to go there too. I was like, oh, no, I can't go there. That's going to be too late. Then I have a bonsai meeting this weekend on Saturday in Northern Virginia. And I was like, and I found there's a Rockler location there too. I was like, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going Saturday afternoon. Devin says that I think wine alcohol can still be developed into fruit instead of fully roasting it out. I mean, I think so. I think that's possible. I think you should give it a try, man. I haven't really worked with a lot of carbonic maceration coffee, so I don't really know. And I think the way that people process is so different that it's hard to say in generalities how you might want to approach. Craig says, leave the wash to me. I just picked up a wash yerb from Royal Coffee. Nice, nice, man. You know, I think wash, like for me personally, a really well produced wash red bourbon from like El Salvador. Like my friend, she would make this red bourbon washed every year, man. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Like there's something about the classics. Like there's classics are classics for a reason. Like if one thing that I think that maybe people get carried away with is, you know, what they like, right? What they want, what narrow-mindedness they may have. Like when I started on the business, I loved natural coffees. I love blueberry naturals. Love it. Like I want to, like I remember thinking the years ago, I was like, I would just like to have blueberry naturals. That's all I want. So if I was left up to my own devices, I probably would have a whole catalog of blueberry naturals if they were available. But I realized at the time that, you know, we need to, as an operator, I need to provide for a spectrum of guests who may have different tastes, who may have different predilections. So I need to like understand the larger gamut. And I think sometimes a lot of these people are very much into like, oh, we have to have these crazy processes, or we can only do geisha, or any of those things. Like Perfect Daily Grind had a Instagram post. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, or a few days ago, talking about the geisha coffee, and they're like, "What's the best geisha you ever had?" And I said, and I posted a comment, and I was like, "Best geisha I ever had, the 2005 Hacienda La Esmeralda that Price Peterson brought to the market, that my mentor and his buying group paid an exorbitant amount of money in 2005 for. Exorbitant. Like people were just like, what are you people? They're just like, are you stupid?" But it was so beautiful because it was so different at the time. Like it was this beautifully complex tea-like coffee that my mentor roasted fairly, what we would consider today fairly dark, you know, full city, but beautiful structure, beautiful coffee. And I was like, that's the most beautiful geisha I've ever had. And why? Because at the time it was new. Everything since that time has been geisha, has been very good, but none of it has had the impact because, well, you know what? It's all variations on the same. Yeah, Craig says that's the classic. Yeah, that's a classic geisha, man. That was a great time. And people still talk about, yeah, man, I got a bag of it and I've loved it. I loved it, loved it. I was raving about it too back then. But now everything, all the geishas are kind of the same. It's not really that dynamic. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking like with a lot of ignorance. But I don't find a lot of the geishas that I've tried over the last 10, 15 years to be that significant, right? Steven says, what's up, man? How you doing, Steven? How's everything in Phoenix? Everything's good? We haven't seen your brother. I think your brother's out with the boys at the Elks Club. Devin says, I saw that one, but Sweet Maria's dropped a natural that I could not resist. Those guys at Sweet Maria's, they do buy beautiful coffees. They have great connections. You know who also buys a lot from them is my friend John Piquet, who owns oh darn it, who owns Cafe de Bola in Salt Lake City. He buys a lot of coffee from Sweet Maria's wholesale side. And man, you know what? And he's a little bit different. Like he roasts his own coffees. He buys coffee from a lot from Sweet Maria's. He's not one of these crazy cats like a lot of us that are spending crazy amounts of money and time going to different nations and trying to bring coffees in. He works with trusted partners that help him source really beautiful coffee, and he always finds something really great. And I think that's partly because when you're working with Sweet Maria's, man, those guys, they're buying some great stuff, like really just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Steven's passing out candy and smoking out an LFD. Nice, nice. And Craig says, I just got a roasted geisha from Abu Farms from Playa and Rogue Wave. Oh, what do you think about that? Turns out well, or have you not tried it yet? I must say that I am curious. Like my friend Miguel was one of the buyers of the was that the $10,000 lot, the auction lot that just happened this past summer. He's one of the buyers, and he's got a small amount. We talked about this, I think, at one point where it's I think the cost to his subscribers that bought the coffee is like $300 a gram. So wildly expensive, $5,000 for like a serving or something like that. But I do wonder, like, how are those? I wonder how those coffees are. Like, how significant is it? Craig says that the description for that Gogogu was so tempting. Oh, that sounds. I'm gonna have to look these guys up. Are they selling things like that at You said it was from Royal East or Royal West, and are they selling those just as full bags, or are they doing the half bag thing that a lot of people are doing? Be nice to have a smaller bag rather than a bigger bag. No, not yet with the geisha. Okay, okay. Oh, not, yeah, yeah. Let everyone know. Let everyone know. We want to know. All right, so we're pretty much done the first step, the first third. So I'm gonna rate the first third. The flavor, I'm gonna say very good plus, 8.5. Body has been on the lighter side, very, very kind of mild-ish. But again, I would say very good plus, very good plus. I mean, nothing bad, nothing untoward. Oh, Royal West. Okay. Huh. 22 pounds. Oh, and the Gogogu is from Sweet Maria. Okay. The geisha, 22 pounds. The Gogogu is from Sweet Maria, so get that as a pound or more. I wonder if they have that available. I'm pretty sure they would probably have that available on Coffee Shrub, which is the wholesale side. Actually, in this segment of the cigar, it's getting better. Like that tropical fruit note, that pineapple note is actually getting stronger. It's getting more pronounced. It's getting more enjoyable. Huh. I'm rather pleased. I'm rather pleased. So I could be wrong, but I think that the television series The Diplomat with Kerry Russell and Rufus Sewell starts their second season today. I don't know if you've seen that, but I saw it last year. I watched it again over the summer. It's only like 8 episodes or something, really short series, but man, so good. Such a good show. I'm really excited to see this new season. Like, I wonder what's going to happen to them. I wonder. Craig says free shipping to Canada this week for 22 pounds and 50-pound boxes from Royal West. So I had to, I wonder if they do free shipping here in America. I know some of the places like Genuine Origin does free shipping now. They used to charge $10. Now they do free. I buy a bit from Genuine because, especially after the pandemic, we were doing our production was a little bit smaller, so I could buy smaller lots and have them shipped relatively quickly and easily. Certainly, I'm sure the price per pound is a little bit higher to accommodate that, but a little bit of bitterness is coming out now. Like, we had great like tropical pineapple flavor, and then suddenly now it's got a little bit bitter. I wonder why. And I don't know how it is up in Ottawa. I'm presuming that's relatively chilly, but here in Baltimore, like, I thought it was getting cooler at the beginning of the show, and now that I got the heater running, I had the heater running the whole time. I'm starting to feel kind of warm. I think it's kind of stabilized. I don't know how it is where you are, George, but man, it's pretty darn nice. Like, today was gorgeous. Today, I don't know what the temperature. I mean, it was got into the 80s, but it was like a perfect day. It was perfect temperatures, perfect coolness, perfect breeziness, like perfect sunshine. Like, it was like, wow, this is really a fabulous, fabulous day. Ended up going by the still dealer, looking at PPE before I start my chainsaw massacre. Last week when I was in Pennsylvania, I went to this one hardware store. They had a bunch of still stuff, and I was trying on the different helmets, right? The protective hard hats and ears and face. And I found one, the forestry kit. It's the model that it's called forestry. That fits really well. It's some of the other ones, like the face shield actually was like come up to my nose. Like, it was like, oh, that's crazy. That's no good. But this other one, the forestry version, looks nice. And I think it's like $90. I think I need to buy it. I need to buy it. I need to buy that and buy chaps, or at least chainsaw pants. But the chainsaw pants, man, it costs big money, man. It's like 200 and up. It's like, oh man. I mean, I'm being cheap, right? $200 to save your leg. That's cheap. Like, there's one that's like $385. I was like, well, that's really pretty. Really looks nice, but like, oof. Craig says it's low 70s here now. Today was an anomaly, back to cold weather tomorrow. I wonder if we're going to go back to cold weather here tomorrow. We've had fairly mild or nice weather this past week, so I'm like, I don't know when we're going to go back to cold, but I bet it's going to be like a brutal, brutal, brutal cold. And Devin says it's been nice here in Florida since the hurricane. Oh, nice. I guess there's a bright side to the hurricane. What did they have a hurricane? Oh, they had flash floods in Spain, in Valencia. My cousin has a house in Valencia. So I called him. I said, dude, your house all right? He's like, yeah, it should be fine. They're in the hills, so if anything, everything washed down below them. But evidently 95 people were killed in these flash floods. Like, And you see the pictures of the cars, the aftermath. You're like, whoa, that's crazy. And they had some video of the actual flash floods. It's like, whoa, scary, man, scary. There's a place here in Maryland called Ellicott City. They had very similar problems a couple years back, twice. People got killed, people got swept away, businesses got washed out. It was really crazy. So nice. It's nice. That bitterness is gone. We're back to that pineapple-y tropical fruitness. I don't want to say tropical fruit, but tropicality. Tropicality is really the best way that I would say to describe that. As you can see, I'm wearing my Battlestar Galactica outfit. This is our BDUs. These are actually screen accurate. So I went to a costumer a while back, actually in 2012, and I had them make this for me. I was like, "Ooh, nice." I would always prefer to have screen accurate stuff than just something, and I get to use it now. I've used it now for what, 12 years. So say we all. So say we all. When you go to the sci-fi con, you want to look correct. Yeah, I go to sci-fi cons. I do. I enjoy it. I go to sci-fi cons, I go to comic cons, I go to video cons, YouTube cons. I went to a woodworking con last week. It's interesting to go to that woodworking con. I went to a show called Wood Pro Expo. They were holding it in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I found the note. They had a card for it at the wood shop the week before, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm no longer going to be going to Chicago, so I think I'll go check that out." I was supposed to go to Chicago for the Roast Magazine Summit, but just a lot of stuff from going on, so I can't really leave. And I went, and it was interesting to go there because it's a small show, but there's a lot of vendors, quite a few vendors. But it was like, it's interesting to go to something like that because I'm the neophyte, right? I'm the one that like has no understanding of what is going on. Like everything is like totally like flying over my head. I'm like, oh, what is this? So I have to try to find a way to learn and educate myself and like ask questions. So I was able to talk to a few vendors, made some connections. So nice. I got to see. We were at an event. We were at a Festool event the week before, and the Festool rep was there, Phil. And he was like, and I was doing the live stream. I did last Friday's live stream there. And he was kind enough to do a little demonstration for us. But he was like, I saw your Festool Fest show. And I was like, oh, gosh, that's embarrassing. So I do a little, since I've been getting into this whole thing, I decided, let me do this little fun, little short show on this other channel that I have called Onotech, called Festool Fest. And it's just all about like Festool and like whatever stuff I'm looking at the moment. And so, nobody's really watched. Nobody's really seen it. It's really a small show with almost no views. But look at that. So it's really kind of brown. Look at that. Even on the underside here. Look at that. It is nice and old. Devin says, I saw you this morning on the morning show, Battlestar. Like, it is an amazing show. I love both versions of it. Both versions. I grew up watching the first one. And then I just love the second one. I love this. And I know there's a lot of people, when the second one came out, a lot of the old timer guys were like, oh, there's a woman playing Starbuck and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, man, it's great. It's great. This is what we want. We want to have a new show. We want the show to live. And I got to say that the guys that made it, David Icke and the guy that makes the NASA show now, they did a great job with it. I mean, there's no way around it. The ending was a little bit, not weak, but wonky, a little bit wonky, right? The whole like Baltar and Six are some kind of guardian angels and work for the creator. And we fast forward 250,000 years, something like that. A little bit wonky, but not as bad as things like the finale of How I Met Your Mother or Game of Thrones. Like those were just abominations. I'll say it. I'm saying abominations. Devin says that I'd say an aged flavor is just like a mellowing woody. I always prefer the burn of an old cigar. Oh, that is a nice way to put it. A mellowing woody. I guess depending on the age of the mind, the age of the mindset you're talking to, a mellowing woody might have a whole nother kind of meaning. Devin says Gaius Baltar was peak character. Baltar was good. He was good. James Callis. I mean, such heavy hitters. Like, of course, Edward James Olmos, amazing actor. I've been a fan of his since he played Harrison Ford's, partner or ex-partner in Blade Runner, or Jaime Escalante in Stand and Deliver. Like, he's always been an amazing, amazing actor. But what I really thought was really amazing was Michael Hogan, the guy that played Colonel Ty. Like, I've met Michael Hogan a couple times. We hung out a little bit in the past. Unfortunately, Michael came down with, I think he had a head injury, so I think he was kind of messed up for quite a long time. Maybe he still is. But I remember when I met Michael Hogan, I was like, hey man, I gotta tell you, like, I thought you were like an amazing co-star to Edward James Olmos, because like I remember this one moment in Battlestar where Adama does something and Ty has a reaction and just looks at him. Doesn't say anything, but his reaction was just, to me, incredible. Like, it spoke volumes. It was like the perfect moment. And it was like, dude, you were an actor. You're not famous, but like your acting skills are so high that like you stand shoulder to shoulder with giants like Edward James Olmos. Gosh, I'm gonna go watch that tonight now. Craig says that, please excuse my ignorance, is Battlestar Galactica the one with Lauren? Yes, the original in 1978 is the one with Lauren Green and Richard Hatch and Dirk Benedict. Dirk Benedict, whether he was Starbuck or Face in A-Team, always a favorite actor of mine. Favorite actor of mine. Him and Tom Selleck, I think, and Harrison Ford as Han Solo are some of my favorite actors of that era, and even today. So yes, it was Lauren Green, and in the new version in 2003, Lauren Green's character is portrayed by Edward James Olmos. So in both cases, giants of actors. Of course, for me, being 8 years old, 9 years old, when the first Battlestar came out, I don't know Lauren. I didn't know Lauren Green as this giant of an actor. He was just Commander Adama to me, and that was it. I was like, Commander Adama. But of course, I'm much older by the time 2003 rolls around, so I've seen Edward James Olmos. So it was like, oh, Edward James Olmos. Yeah, agreed. A very good match. Oops. A very good match. So I'm trying to slow down. I realize that I probably was going a little bit fast. Maybe that's where we're getting some of that enhanced bitterness for a little while. Especially since we still got about another 25 minutes to roll. Yeah, I was going to Vancouver one year during the production of Battlestar. So this is like 2004, 2005. And since I'm a member of the production union, the IATSE, I've been a member now for 30, coming on 32 years. At the time, of course, it was like 20 years ago. So I was only a member then for like over 10. But of course, I know my business agent very well. And that's one thing. If you're going to be a member of a union, know your business agent. That really helps. Even though no longer, even at that time, I wasn't really active anymore. It's kind of on the transitioning away from the industry. But since I was going to Vancouver for a coffee event, I called my business agent and said, hey, can you call the BA in Vancouver and ask him if I can do a set visit to Battlestar? It's the only time I've ever tried to pull any kind of connection to go visit a set. I was like, I got it. I would love to see the set. And I had one day to go do it. And the day that I was there, that I could go and break away, I called up my BA and I was like, hey, are we good? He's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. They're having a closed set today for whatever reason. So they're not allowing anyone outside the immediate cast and crew on set. And I was like, oh, I was so disappointed. Would have been my moment to talk to Grace Park. We could have had like 4 kids by now. Korean Filipino babies. Very nice. Very nice. Was she my favorite on Battlestar? I also like Luann Catrain. I thought she was cool. I like Cat was cool. Oh, my favorite was Callie, of course. I think when they, those who are not familiar, Callie was a deckhand. So basically, the Galactica, like in both shows, is kind of like a space carrier, right? So they got the deck crew that works, and the deck crew is very heavily featured in the newer series, and non-existent in the old one. But there's the chief, and then his whole group of deckhands, and one of this girl Callie, who I thought was really cute. Like she was like that girl next door. I love that look, and she actually reminded me of a girl that I used to hang out with a lot when we were young. And but what they did with them is that they decided to create the storyline where the chief and Callie got together, and I was like, that just it. They had more of a brother sister kind of relationship at the beginning of the series, so for them to force it was really forced for them to put them together. It was like that wasn't so satisfying of a storyline because originally the chief was involved with Boomer. This is really nice. I'm going to say we're finished with the second third. I think the second third we had the spike, really nice complexity, really beautiful tropicality, and then we had that moment of like bitterness, and then it came back. So I'm going to have to say we're still at 8.5. I would have said that we're going to push to 9. The body's still the same at 8.5, but I thought flavor we might have pushed to 9 if but with that drop with that not spike but that that dip, I can't say. I can't say it was great, but so far no dip down to bitterness in this last third. Right now, just nice, good complexity, light amounts of cedar woodiness. It has that woody kind of like age character that Devin was talking about. It just kind of like lingers throughout. Maybe that's part of the cedar. And yeah, just really actually very nice, very good. This is almost empty, my butane. I gotta go to REI tomorrow and get some more. I've actually had this. Like I've used the stove a lot more. this past couple months or a month or so than I have in the time. I've actually owned this stove since probably the early days of the channel, like about 4 years now. I did a video reusing it quite a few years ago, and I haven't really used it much since, but lately I've been using it a lot. So the butane lasts fairly good. And I think if I take this off here, yeah, it has this threaded piece, right? I think this threaded piece is also on the larger cans that you get from like the Asian grocery store, the tall ones. I don't have any here, but I think they're the same. And so those are $7 at the Asian market. These, I don't know how much these are, probably 15. I'll go find out tomorrow. Yeah, this is really becoming a nice smoke, really nice. The qualities of the smoke is very good. So how are all your guys' cigars coming along? Anything really great or just okay? Yeah, like I said, I've got the bonsai meeting. There's a group called the Northern Virginia Bonsai Society, and I knew about them earlier this year, and I went to a few of the meetings over the summer, but I haven't been able to go for the last couple of months just because like just conflicts on the days that they would have their meetings. So finally, I was like looked it up, and they're like, "Oh, November 2 is our next meeting." I was like, "Oh, November 2, I think I can make that." So I'm going to head down there to have a guest lecturer that's going to come and talk. And they usually have a guest lecturer, and then they have a session where you can like work with the guest lecturer for an additional fee, one-on-one with your own tree. Bring your own tree. And that's sold out. I won't have the time. Plus, I just found out this. I mentioned going to the Rockler woodworking. I was looking online, came across their website, and the Rockler's having the Fairfax location is having an event that day, and I was like, ooh, 2 events in one day. Very nice. Devin says that the La Colmena 10th anniversary is crazy complex geisha like. Ooh, that sounds very nice. So, does that mean it's kind of got that lighter tea like kind of character to the cigar? Is that right? I mean, Kyle and company always do nice cigars. I don't know if Kyle is still. I don't know if they're still producing that at Aganorsa, at Tabsa in Nicaragua, or I heard something that maybe they were moving some of their production to my father. I don't know. I don't know. But this is carrying. This is definitely improving. The flavor wise, it's improving through this last third. If it carries through for the rest of it, I think we'll be at a higher score for them than the 8.5. If it holds up. Devin says they're still out of Tabsa for the most part. Okay. Some La Isla, but I haven't heard about move to. Okay, maybe I'm not even. I may not even know what I'm talking about. I just know some guys were talking about things, and I kind of pay attention, but not really pay attention. But I had a really wonderful time when we were there about 10 years ago. We were in Nicaragua. I was there buying coffee in Matagalpa, and then I met up with some friends from Hawaii. We went to the cigar safari being held by Drew Estate. And so we did that for a few days, and then afterwards, a couple of us hung out longer and went to visit Mika Sueño. Went to visit. Did we go to my father? We went to my father. We went to Padron, and then we also went to Tabsa, where Paul Palmer was like, hey, he hosted us there. Really wonderful time, and that was when Senor Ramos was still alive, and Senor Ramos was a great guy. We were hanging out, talking, drinking, eating, smoking cigars. We're in their room. There's a tasting room in Tabsa. You all sit around a big table, and Senor Ramos is just like, here, try this and try this and try this, and they were all like I guess they're not called puritos, but basically they're just the the components, little rolls of the tobacco components, and you got to taste them all to do blending. It was really fascinating, wonderful time. Sadly, our Senor Ramos passed away a few years back. But every time I go to the cigar trade show, we would hang out at the booth for a few minutes and chat. It was always really nice. And he only spoke Spanish. My Spanish was terrible. My Spanish still is terrible. But yeah, coming along. This Ashton VSG, really nice. Like, if I remember, these are made in Dominican with by the Fuente family. Really pretty, pretty cigar. But according to Bryan, when they don't have this tropicality, they're just not as enjoyable. Not to say they're not enjoyable, but not as. Maybe soon when it gets a little bit chillier, we'll go back out to our fire pit and do the broadcast from there. It's been a little bit comfortable in here, a little more protected, and I don't have to set up and tear everything down. But that one night we were out after we got off the live stream. It was the night of the Aurora Borealis, and I had never seen the aurora. And I still had some cigar left, so I was just kind of sitting around after the show, opened up my laptop, and the Copernic Observatory in upstate New York was doing a live stream about the aurora that we could see in America. And I was like, what? There's an aurora? I went outside. I got away from where I was sitting with the lighting, and I looked up in the sky to the northwest. And I say, I thought that there may be some reddishness, greenish, maybe, but it's really diffused, like super diffused. Like I couldn't tell for sure until I took the phone and I held the phone up to see it. Because for some reason I thought maybe the phone will see it better. And wow, unbelievable. Like the phone, for whatever reason, that sensor and then the processing that the Apple does on it just really brought out all the details. So if you ever see the picture of it on my Instagram, it looks really amazing. It didn't look as sharp as it does in the images, but to see the aurora finally, that's always been like something I wanted to see. coffee is still warm, not hot, but warm. Like this Festool mug does an okay job. Like it's not as, it doesn't hold the heat as well as their tools perform. Like I have it, I've kept it, I have kept the little sippy lid open, but it's been sealed the most of the time. But it's just, it's still warm. It's still enjoyable warmth. Like I'm glad there's still some left over because there's still a lot of Reese's left. I think I'll have another slice about this much before bed tonight. But it is utterly ridiculous. I also have this Hershey Kiss that is probably like this big. That's what we're going to use on tomorrow's live stream. I hope it's not hollow. I hope it's just this monster Hershey Kiss. I'm hoping. You can only get those at Hershey Park. There's a chocolate factory there, and I think they sell it in the park. But Matt's a season pass holder there, and he's also part of that whole American Roller Coaster Society. So he's up there like quite often. We were talking about that. He was like, and he came back. Because I said to him, man, I remember they had these big, huge kisses, and he brought that back. I was like, oh, dude, you're amazing. Thank you. Craig says, pull an espresso onto the Hershey Kiss. I mean, the problem is that it is as big as the machine. It's literally like that. Like I couldn't even, like maybe I could fit like a portion of the side under the spouts, but that have no way to catch it. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out the hard way tomorrow. Maybe just hack off a piece and like pull the shot onto it. All right, we're getting to the very end. Soon I will not be able to hold on to it. Craig says, "Oh, it's huge. I thought it could fit in a wide mouth glass, like a rocks glass." That, yeah. No, this is it's significant. It's like I bought some for my one year. I was up in Hershey, and I bought a couple of them. One for my niece, one for my nephew. And I bought them partially with the thought that since I'm the uncle, I'm going to have the opportunity to try it. Never did. Never even got to see them open it. I was like, oh, lose money. All right, I think we're just going to have to score this now. Because my fingers are burning. All right. I would definitely say the flavor has improved in that last third. I'm going to give it a 9. But the body is still the same. We're still at the same position. The body has been very static. So let's see here. Now, burn and draw. Burn has been very good. Draw, very good overall. So let's say that's a 9. Consistency, very consistent. Let's say 875. And then overall, I think still 8.5 for overall. Which gives us a total score of 85.75. There it is, 85.75. So a very, very good score for today. So yeah, quite enjoyable. Cut out the top of your other peanut butter cup and pull a shot at, oh, that could be something. That could be something. Well, I might save that for next week. But before we leave, I'm going to have to cut another piece of this off here. One of the reasons why I didn't want to eat so much of the coffee was because I wanted to save a little bit of coffee to savor with the last piece. Here it is. George, this is for you, man. Look at that thing. That is just ridiculous. All right, let's see. It really is too sweet. But you know, there's something about the Reese's peanut butter cup that just got it right. I saw a peanut butter cup from Theo at REI one day, so I bought one. Not as good. Not as good. Maybe it's too fancy. The problem with this lid is that it hinders when you're trying to give the right amount of coffee to the Reese's. The little sippy portion hinders the quantity because you need enough coffee to stand up to it. Oh yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So good. So good together. I would have to say I highly recommend today's cigar, the Ashton VSG, if you can find the tropicality, and the half-pound Reese's Pieces. You should definitely, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, you should definitely get one. Maybe they have them on Amazon. Totally worth it. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Spending another Thursday night with me, hanging out here. Back again Thursday. And next Thursday, we're going to hit the My Father stuff and try maybe the 20th anniversary to see how that goes. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Tim and Craig and Bryant and Stephen and Devin and everybody else. Thank you very much for tuning in. Always good to see you. Always good to hang with you. George, take care of yourself out there. Hope you're not getting too crazy. And Craig, hope you're not getting too wet in that garage. All right, so back again next week. And happy Halloween to you guys as well. And back again and see you next time.